Great.
All right.
Cool. So I'll go ahead and start off just with an introduction for myself, and then just kind of fading to the background, letting them know what I'm going to do, and then y'all can take over.
All right.
Sounds good.
Here they come. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Tell us where you're joining from in the comments. Oh, hi, Ellen. Lovely to see you.
We still
Likewise.
have joining us. Have someone from South Carolina. Amazing. Las Vegas. That's fun.
Rochester. Very cool. My best friend's in Rochester.
Indiana. Nice.
Nice. Anybody from the UK? I mean, it's really late, so probably not.
Cool.
Oh, there's another one.
Awesome. Cool. So we probably will still have a lot of people joining us, hopefully. So I'll go ahead and let those in whenever they join the waiting room. But welcome everyone to our webinar, Teaching Robotics in Elementary. It's never too early. My name is Kimberly. In case we haven't met, I am CST's Membership Services Specialist. Most likely, if you've emailed membership within the last year or awards, you've probably got an email from me. So it's great to see you guys again. I will be turning it over to Jamie and Nat. They will be hosting this amazing webinar for you all. If you have any questions or have any technical challenges, please let us know in the chat and we'll be happy to assist. But in the meantime, Jamie and Nat, it's all yours.
Thank you. Right. I think we'll probably do introductions, Jamie, and you're controlling the slide deck, but
There you go.
I'll let you know during my slide if I need you to go into the next one. So I'll introduce myself. My name is Nat. I'm the marketing director at Robotical. I'm really lucky that I get to tell lots of innovative educators around the world about Marty and the benefits I could bring to the classroom. And I've been doing that for about 2.5 years now. So I've known Jamie for quite a while. Because I think Jamie's known Marty for longer than I have. You've had an original, so this is a Marty V2, and you've had the original that you properly had to put together, didn't you? So I never had to do that.
So my name is Jamie Shields. I am joining you guys from Dallas, Texas. Irving is where my school is actually at. I am a 3rd grade teacher. I teach math, science, social studies, coding, and so I'm a STEM teacher. I have known Marty since back in the Kickstarter days when he was just a dream, kind of. And so I'll tell you some more about some of the things that I've done with Marty. I am a Marty ambassador, a Marty master, and I love using Marty in my classroom, and I'll tell you more about that in a little while. Our email and contact information is on the screen, our Twitter accounts. So definitely follow us and look us up and reach out. Like I said, I'm a teacher, so reach out at any time, you guys.
Cool. So I'll start with a little bit of a story of how Robotical and Marty came to be. So our founder and CEO, Dr. Enoch, is also the inventor of Marty, the robot. Sandy is a roboticist, and when he was doing his PhD on walking robots, he wanted to buy something for his niece, who was learning how to code at the time, to really bring it alive for her and off the screen. And he couldn't find anything that wasn't either a novelty toy or super expensive, like thousands and thousands of dollars. So he decided he's going to invent one that's specific for children that are around 6 or 7 and is really going to be beneficial in teaching them how to code. So that's how he kind of put his inventor skills into use and made the original prototype of Marty. He got, his Juliet seal of approval, and then he got a Kickstarter going, and that was Marty V1. That was back in 2016, and Marty has come leaps and bounds since then to something that's very, very specifically designed for the classroom, but the mission at the heart of the company hasn't changed. We still want to ignite a passion for learning. We still want to show that, you know, coding and technology can be really fun, and really anybody can get into it and do it. So that's kind of what is at the heart and the core of what we do. And then if we move into the next slide, that's Marty. So that is, Marty is a walking, dancing, soccer playing, eyebrow wiggling coding robot that helps teach children from the age of 4+ all about coding and robotics. And what Marty, I guess, has that other robots don't have is obviously a humanoid form, which Jamie's going to talk about a little bit later on. And that's kind of a benefit that it has in terms of really engaging and creating that emotional connection with the robot. But we'll play you a really, really short video that explains all about how Marty came to be and our history to date. And we'll show you a little bit of how children are programming Marty as well. Ooh, it's not playing the sound. I mean, I suppose you can, it's
right,
got the
here you
closed
go.
captions, yeah.
Robotical introduced the
Can you hear it now?
world to Marty the
Yep.
robot. Since then, Marty has sold in the thousands across more than 50 countries and helped countless people learn about robotics and programming. Launching Marty the robot taught us just as much as Marty has taught our wonderful users. And now Robotical is ready to launch Marty version 2. If you've not been introduced, let's change that. Marty is our first educational robot, a walking robot friend to help children learn about programming, robotics, and engineering. Marty walks, turns, kicks, and dances with a unique 3-motor and spring-leg design. Kickstarting coding capabilities from drag and drop block coding with Scratch to advanced languages like Python, while the ROS interface and open APIs open doors for advanced users. Marty makes learning come alive. So, what's new, Marty? Yes, you V2. Marty V2 is bigger, bolder, and even more functional. We've added sound, Bluetooth, and USB, smart servos, new sensors, and loads more. Marty V2 is tougher too, withstanding the bumps of early robot life. 9 metal-geared smart servos sense position and let Marty copy poses and movements you demonstrate. Marty's new modular expansion system means you can add all sorts of sensors for distance, color, lines, noise, and light, and learn more about electronics. Add extra motors for elbows, roller skates, or grabbing hands. And every motor has built-in force sensing and position feedback. Acceleration and tilt sensors help Marty interact with the world. Marty can sense obstacles and detect beacons and other Martys. Optional color sensors enable screen-free programming. Build, play, program, expand. Marty takes you on a learning journey. You can customize your Marty's look and make Marty repeat sounds and phrases with the built-in speaker. Adding a Raspberry Pi and camera is really quick, and you can 3D print custom parts. And of course, Marty loves dancing more than ever. Activities, tutorials, and loads of lesson plans help everyone learn. But we're also working on a new learning platform to guide learning, manage robots, and track progression. Whatever your age or robotics knowledge, Marty the robot lays the groundwork for the engineers and scientists of the future. And Marty's massive personality makes the journey memorable.
With your help, we can bring our new Marty to more homes and schools worldwide and keep inspiring today's children to become tomorrow's engineers and scientists, whether they're already on their path or it starts just around the corner. So together, let's make learning come alive.
In 2006,
There you go.
Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. And we covered it all in the video, but you know, Marty has a few things that other robots don't have. So the humanoid form we've spoken about, the unique walking mechanism. You don't often see robots that walk. You often get the robots that roll or have wheels. Marty can emote with the eyebrows. We also have 9 different motors, so servos, in the arms, the legs, the eyes. And the foot sensors are both infrared. One of them is also a color sensor. And there's a whole bunch of other kind of classroom management things that we've added, like the rechargeable battery and the charging cradle that comes with the class pack. So yeah, Marty's really got lots of different things that make it really, really wonderful for the classroom. The way we kind of think about the learning progression from the age of 4 all the way through high school is we start the learners really, really simple with Unplugged and color cards. So you don't need a device. You use the color sensor in the foot to detect the color, and depends on the color, Marty will have a different action. And so you can start to get kids to program sequences in that sense. And Jamie will demonstrate that as well. We then move them onto our app. We also have a web app now. So the feedback that we've had was that quite a lot of people don't use iPads or Android devices. They use Chromebooks. And so we've created a web app that is basically a copy of the user interface that you would find in the app. And so from there, we kind of move them onto a remote controller, a very, very basic sequencer that is even kind of pre-drag and drop. We then move on to Marty Blocks Jr. for the pre-readers. It's based on ScratchJr, so it should look very, very familiar to those of you who have used ScratchJr in the past. And then onto Marty Blocks, which is the kind of the blocks, the written blocks. So that's kind of from grade 3 or 4 when they can confidently read and they can start programming Marty using that, and that's based on Scratch. So, and then obviously there's the applications for kind of middle school and high school, but we won't really be covering those today. But just so you know, we can also program Marty on Python. So that's kind of the way we see the progression through elementary and middle school. Obviously, different students are different. There's a huge variability in terms of, you know, knowledge and ability, but that's generally how we would see the progression from Unplugged through to the pre-reader block-based coding, and to the block-based coding, and to the text-based coding. And this is the coding learning concepts that are covered by our lessons material. We also have lessons that cover math, science, ELA, and social emotional, but specifically when we talk about coding, this is what the lessons cover in our learning portal. So these are all the different concepts. And all of those lessons, we have over 100 lessons. They're all standards aligned. So some of you, I'm sure, already use the CSTA standards. So they're mapped to that. The ISTE standards, Common Core, NGSS, primarily for the math lessons, but some of the coding lessons as well. TEKS, but I should probably mention it's the current Texas TEKS, not the one that's getting refreshed, as well as Georgia GSE. So that's currently what they're mapped to, but we keep adding standard mapping to our lessons portal all the time. And I will now hand it over to Jamie.
All right, I want to point out one thing to you guys. This is my first class that got to meet Marty, and we have the trial Martys there that they're playing with, and they were so excited. And that face is why I code. All right, so why is it a humanoid robot? Kids think about robots as these rolling things that they can play with, but a robot that actually acts like we do, and is going to act like the robots that they're going to see in the future, we predict, are very helpful to students. They are not scared of Marty. Whenever I teach other kinds of robotics, I teach in my class, the kids are kind of hesitant, but Marty's cute. I mean, how can you be scared of that? My class, I introduced at the beginning of the school year this year. One of my favorite things was Marty, and I just literally dropped that picture of Marty into my slides, and they have asked about him every day since then. When are we going to code Marty? And they remember who he is. Just the spectrum of possibilities with Marty is great. It doesn't hurt students learning to have it be so cute. One of the things that I think is really interesting about it is that it helps them to develop the computational thinking and the reasoning that they need for this computer science skills that they're going to be learning. They definitely take ownership with Marty. Why use robotics in the elementary classroom? You might be asking yourself, well, why do I need to do this? Why do I need to code something that's an actual robot? Why can't I just do what we'd normally do in Scratch or what we're doing in Tinker? Putting that hands-on aspect to it encourages innovation, encourages creativity. It opens your students up to the real world and what they're going to be seeing whenever they're out there in the world in coding. A lot of my students are coming from families that are engineers. Their parents are coders, but it's all screen-based. My students ask like, okay, well, I can't do what my parents do, but I'm teaching them the skills that they can do what their parents are doing and giving them the confidence that they can code. And I will tell you, I teach third grade. I have about 5 fourth graders that come back every single day to see me to find out what we're coding. And I'm like, we only code on Thursdays, guys. And they're like, what are you coding this week? And I'm like, we haven't coded anything this week. It's not Thursday. Just that hands-on robotics is very motivating for the kids. This is a great article, by the way, that's linked in our slide presentation. 21st century skills, those critical thinking skills, all those computer science skills, communication, the 4 or 5 C's, however you've learned them, those are definitely used and taught in robotics. Creativity, problem solving, my class, listening to them talk out how they're going to write their code or how they're going to do their code. The problem solving that they have developed this year. I'm a math teacher. I am amazed at the problem solving that they have. They are very able to persevere. They don't give up. They want him to do what they're coding him to do. They work great as a team to collaborate. They are wonderful at picking up those digital learning skills and using what they've learned, and they transfer it. I talk to them about, you know, like if it's okay to learn something, but if you're tying it to something else, that's your goal. I am lucky this year that I'm in an innovative academy where the teachers in my district are being encouraged to think outside the box. My goal this year is to tie my learning concepts that I teach in class to coding and robotics. So we've really been working on those ties, and Marty helps with that so much. So the first kind of coding that you can do with Marty is Unplugged, screen-free. Marty comes with great little cards. They have what the cards do on the cards, so that if you forget what the code's going to be, and they also are fun for your students. They're easy for the kids to get into because all you have to do is have your little Marty and your cards, and you're ready to go. The cards are 5 different colors. I will tell you that I've heard Hal talk about it and I've seen it in action. If your floor is a different color that happens to pop into being one of these cards, like Hal's yellow tablecloth he used to use, Marty will react to that. I noticed today on our floor when we were playing with the cards that our blue carpet did get Marty to do some walking. He was sliding to the left a couple of times today. So you need to be aware of that whenever you are using the cards, that they do very well react to whatever you put him on. So I'm going to show you and tell you a little bit about my students. My students, like I said, I teach 3rd grade. Usually we introduce the coding cards, the Unplugged cards, with our little friends that are in kindergarten. We have a kindergarten class that we partner with. And so I was like, okay, guys, we're going to go talk to the kindergarten kids. We're going to start working on our lesson. Let's really, prepare for this. And so we started talking about how we could lay the cards out. As you can see, they were laying the cards out, they were discussing it, and they were moving them back and forth. The blue card is a slide to the left card. And we noticed that if we put it to go forward, and then the purple card is the right slide card, then the yellow card makes him go backwards, that we'd made a loop. And we talk about loops and conditionals in our coding. And I was like, well, are we trying to make a loop right now? Or talk about what you're wanting him to do. So in my pictures, the kids are discussing their coding and trying to figure out if that loop is really what they want them to do. And the discussion that they have with this, they're not scared. Even my quietest student who never talks in class, she's right here. She's down in the mix. This is my whole class was sitting around. They all took turns getting out there. I didn't say, okay, it's one kid's turn to code. They were just talking it out. I handed cards out around the circle, every other kid. And I said, okay, look at the card that you got, talk to your neighbor about what that card's going to do and where we could put that into our coding. So that was how I got my Unplugged coding started and how I usually do with my class. And then we take it down to, like I said, to our kindergarten friends and talk to them about it. Our kindergarten, I teach at a coding academy where all of our teachers in our school teach coding at some point in their day or in their week. So my kids come with some knowledge, but we also are a very transitional school, open door. Like our kids don't stick around very long. I've gotten probably 3 new kids the last 2 weeks. So they come and go pretty quickly. We're close to the international airport. So our kids come and go, but they're all able to jump right in and start doing this coding activity because it's so easy for them to start. So I want to show you a little demonstration of how you can use the Unplugged cards. So I'm going to stop screen sharing this, stop, and I'm going to switch to this other camera. All right. So to get Marty going, you turn Marty on. Well, let's see. There he is. There it is. Turn Marty on here in the back. Super easy. Look, Mom, no eyes. Once Marty turns on, his LED lights up. To do Unplugged, you push the A button and you will hear it tell you that you have it in Unplugged mode. One of the cool things about Marty is that when you are coding, the LEDs light up. So whenever you're pairing your Marty with your computers or your iPads, it tells you what code it is. Because I know I try to have like a bunch of my kids all start up and pair their computers at the same time, and we've had pairing issues in the past. But with the color code, it tells you if you have the right Marty paired to the right computer. I think that's very, very exciting. All right, so I have Marty. I'm going to put him on his first card. He has a color sensor on his foot that's built into him. It's not an add-on sensor, it's built into all the Martys. So let's see. So Marty is going forward. He should sense the slide to the right. And once he gets to the red, he will stop and celebrate. So it's very simple for the kids to get started with them. And I think, there you go. Let's see, share. So that's how you can use the Unplugged cards in your class. What I like about the Marty is the possibility of differentiation, and I'll talk more about that. But you can give these cards to like maybe a special ed student or a student who's low in the reading levels, and Marty, the same Marty that everybody else has, and they're still coding and they're still having success. All right. The next thing I'm going to talk about is using Marty Jr. It's very similar to ScratchJr, where the students are able to drag and drop the blocks down onto the desktop. You can change the environment that you're coding in. This one's coding in like a little city. And then the students can either pair Marty to the ScratchJr or the Marty Blocks Jr., or they can see it interact on the screen. So my students I gave them a challenge. I was like, okay, we're going to code with this. We haven't coded with this one before. We're going to start out with some basic blocks. And I really want you to discuss what the blocks mean, how the blocks are working, and what's going to happen. Your plan is to have that discussion. I want my students, even my my kids who can read, to have that discussion. My coding class is very discussion oriented. I want the kids to be able to explain their thinking. That justification is super big in our school. So they had to tell me why they picked a block, why they were doing that. So this challenge that I gave them, and I was able to write on my big screen. You can't write on the Marty screen. I wrote on my big presentation screen that I wanted Marty to start, and this is Marty standing in the middle of the coding platform. And I told them their goal is to get him to the right-hand corner as quickly as they can. Marty walks kind of slow on here, I'll just tell you. And then they had to like show us, could they make it more efficient? Could they add in some different loops? The orange loops, just like in Scratch, we do Tinker as well. Those code colors are pretty similar to most of the coding platforms, Blockly, Scratch, Tinker, so that the kids are familiar when they switch into a different platform. It's not totally new to them. So they went and found the orange blocks, which are where the loops and the conditionals are. This friend is just having him walk, 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 walk. You also can change at the bottom of each one of the blocks how many times he does that. So it kind of has its own built-in kind of a loop there. And then here, oh, I had a video, but it's not working. So that's my friends trying to get him to there. Let's see, is it going to take us to the video? It wasn't working earlier. Maybe it will. Oh, here it goes. And he's walking sideways. And now he's heading forward. Sorry, it's a little bumpy. That's what happens when you hand the kids your camera. All right, so back in here. It was interesting to me to see the kids use the turns. These are like a rotation. We were talking about that in math. So it's a great concept to talk about as well. Could you make him rotate instead of just going straight? And that discussion was great. All right, the next one I want to share with you is Marty Blocks. This is very similar to Scratch. Originally, it was written into Scratch 3.0. It's the same platform, basically. The colors are the same. So once your kids have, if they've used Scratch before, they transfer into Marty Blocks very quickly. Like I said, my class this year has been using Tinker. And when we came over to this, they're like, oh, it's just blocks, not a big deal. And they're not scared of that. This activity has a repeat in it. And the students are able to program the Marty to do, this one's going to play a song, play a whistle, do a little dance, do his eyes, his emojis, so that you can talk about how your feelings are tied into your social emotional learning lessons, and then have him wiggle his hips. And then this one has the LEDs where they have the add-on sensors where they have the LEDs and they're going to light up Marty. This is my students doing one of the activities that I'm going to tell you about in a minute, where they are actually using the lesson plan worksheets and coding and writing their thoughts down, answering the questions that are on the lesson plans. I'm going to show you those in a minute, and then making their plan and then writing their code. I don't know that that's the most efficient code that you could get. This code over here is really cool. It codes it to make Marty sing, play Jingle Bells. So I think that's really fun, that if you're working with your music teacher, you could tie your music content in with it. All right, so this is my students. They were tasked with creating an obstacle course with things in our room and then coding Marty to get around the obstacles. I said they had to use at least 3, maybe 4 things out of our classroom. And I will tell you, this was interesting to do with them because I didn't give them a ruler. but they figured out they needed to know how far Marty would go. So they all came to me and were like, we need rulers, we need yardsticks. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know where they are. They're from over there from when we did our measurement unit. And so I thought that was a cool tie. They wanted to know how big his feet were. So they were measuring how big his feet were. They wanted to know how far his steps were, because we've been talking about how many millimeters or how many centimeters or inches things move and how our code will have to change for that. So they were measuring his feet and how far his feet moved for each step. So I thought, oh, that tied back into our math lesson. And then we had some successes and some failures. I will let you watch this video, and you can't hear the sound of it, but you definitely heard some boos and some cheers. And they're starting to realize, uh-oh, there's a mistake. And then the class all started yelling, you can't push the obstacles out of the way. And I was like, was that a parameter I set? And they're like, huh. And I was, so that started a whole new discussion and then some recode. And then they're like, okay, so could we bulldoze them all down? Because Marty does kick. And so that started some whole new coding experience that I had not planned in my lesson. One thing I will say, like I said earlier, is differentiation is amazing with Marty. I have a couple of students who are nonverbal special ed students. I have a lot of my students are ESL, and we can all code Marty at some point in the day where everyone is having the opportunity to code and everyone has success, all with the same robot. And I really like that. I feel like some robotics that I teach with my students, everybody doesn't have the same opportunity because it's not able to differentiate with the same robot. I think that the Learning Portal does a really good job of showing you ways that you can adapt lessons, and all with the same robot. That is, to me, the selling point for Marty, is that my kids who are nonverbal, who may not be great readers, can still be successful. I can give them the same lesson, just in the different platform, and still have them have an accomplishment. I think that that's the coolest thing to me. All right. So here's the Learning Portal. Like Nat said, the Learning Portal has 100+ lessons. They are still adding. And they, I will tell you, are very receptive to teacher feedback. So if you have some ideas or something you're thinking about, you're like, hey, I need a lesson on this, you know, you might shoot them an email and you might see it up there sometime. So this is the Learning Portal, what it looks like. Here is an example lesson. That is the one that we were working on, the obstacle course challenge. One of the neat things I love about these lessons is that it does have those learning objectives, because I don't know about you guys, but we have to write learning targets on our board every day and justify what we're teaching. Then we have to also tie that back to what our content TEKS, I'm in Texas, or our CSTA, or whatever our state standards are. And those are all built in here. So the CSTA standards that they're talking about are listed out with the numbers. Like I said, the TEKS are there for us if you're in Texas, because, you know, Texas, we have to be different. So those are all listed out for you. And I think that's exciting because a lot of companies don't always think of those kind of things. I like that the lesson has your learning objectives, like I said. It also has extensions and support ideas. I teach a GT section that also has special ed in it. So I need both spectrums. I need those extensions for my GT early finishers. And then I need something that I can like tweak things to make it, you know, more meaningful for my students. So I think that's amazing that they already provide those. They have additional resources, which is the educator's guide and an introduction. One of the really cool things that I like about these is when you go into like the teacher's guide, they have prepared like a handout kind of thing. These are for the teachers, but I plan coding for my team, and not every day do I have time to like, okay, break it down and tell my team what we're doing, but the lesson guides break it down for them. I gotta see if I can't get my tabs back. Oh, wrong one. All right, they also have a presentation that you can share to your class. My team is really great about, they'll teach it if I will make it where they can teach it. And it's already there for you. So if you can put it up on your screen, or you can send it to your kids in Canvas or Google Classroom, or however you get your kids information, or you can even print it out and hand it to them. All those objectives are there. What are they thinking about? It has some thought process for their workbooks. It talks about what they're going to be doing, how they're going to program him, and all of those things are already built into the lesson. Then my friends that are teachers sometimes don't have time to try everything out. I'll admit it. Sometimes I just wing it and I come into class and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. And then I'm like, oh, panic. I don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do this. How do I help them? There is a possible solution out there for you. They talk about like how you can do that. What are some like examples? We are tying it, the Mars rover is very big right now in my class. We are tying everything to like if we went to Mars, those kind of things. So those tie-ins are great for the kids. All right. What I also think is really cool is they have a workbook for your students. My class loves to be able to write things down, but not as necessarily every time do they do it. But if I give them a worksheet and I say, okay, this is your question that you're answering, this is how you're going to show me your thought process, they will do it. So I'm going to go back to my presentation. This header is on top of it. I may have to stop for a second. All right, there we go. Screen share. Okay, so like I said, the workbook pages are awesome. So the questions for this activity had to do with drawing some different robots that they talked about in class, and then drawing their obstacle course, and really not forgetting that the obstacles are important. And like I said, the space for them to write their code plan. I told them they could have their computers in front of them so they could see the code blocks if they weren't familiar with them, but I wanted to know their thought process when they were actually doing the project. And then, all right, so that is my main shebang about how you can use the learning portal. There are lots of great lessons in there. Some other tips and ideas and things that you can do with coding in your classroom are make sure that you're using what you have. My class is really into using the servos and those motors and sensors. And Marty is awesome because you can add on microbits. We've been coding with microbits, so you can add that on to Marty. You can do motors, and you can talk about the servos. Marty is really cool because you can open, all right, I'm going to stop sharing so you can see this. All right, you can open Marty up easily by just popping the back off his head, and then his hot plate comes off. And inside Marty, the kids can see what is happening in there. They can see the battery. They can see those connections to the servos and into into his arms and all of the gears in there. Marty originally was made to be a kit that could be built by your students. It's still possible to get Marty where you can build it if your class is into building robotics. You also can use your 3D printer if you have a 3D printer. My class, the year we were going into COVID, was really into 3D printing. And so we 3D printed parts to change out with Marty. I don't know about you guys, if you've ever played with things that have screws, I think these are the coolest, and I point this out every time I do it. They have seated the nuts into Marty, so if the screws do pop out, the nuts are held in there. To me, that's a game changer because I teach an elementary school class. They do fall. They fall off the tables. They don't usually fall apart, but if they do, they're easy to put back together, and I really appreciate that. Like I said, the 3D printing, the knowledge base is really nice. Let's share again. The knowledge base is great for being able to okay, I want to do this. How can I get some help? So if you go into the knowledge base from the Robotical website, it has documentation on like the hardware, if the arm is not working properly. If you want to really get into Python, I had a class about 4 years ago, right before COVID, that at Christmas break, I said, okay, we've done this. What do you guys want to learn next? And their comment to me was they wanted to learn Python. I don't know how to teach Python, but I learned how to teach Python. And so that is a possibility as well. You can use all those sensors, go with this. Raspberry Pi, some of the students are really into that right now. You can add on to that as well. The knowledge base has videos. So like when you click on, like if you're adding the disco, I don't know if this one has it, I could be picking the wrong one, but it has like some of the, no, I picked one that didn't. There are a lot of videos. So like if you're like, I don't know how to do this, most of the time, if you click something, Robotical has thought about like explaining it to you, and there is a video that will help you with that. Like I said, I pair my class with a kindergarten class. We co-teach with them. My class really gets a kick out of being teachers. They think it's really fun to be able to go down and talk to their little friends. And I will tell you, those little kindergartners have taught my kids a thing or two about coding. Some fun activities to do with Marty just to get started right out of the box. And with any kind of thing that you're coding, mazes and obstacle courses are amazing. The kids really like building something and then making the robot go through it. We tend to build a maze and try to get our any kind of robot that we're coding to go through that maze and obstacle course. Dance party, Marty has some great dance moves. And so we have used where you can change the code where you can make it do model what you're doing. So like if you make his legs go out and you make his legs go in, you can make the code do that. And soccer challenges, I don't know about your kids, but my kids are super into soccer right now, and that's all they talk about. And so you can code him to play soccer. And I will say we just did a unit in Vex. And so my kids have coded Marty to play soccer against our Vex robots. And so they're using what they know and transferring it back and forth between the different robotics. All right, that's your turn. And I was looking at questions, and I don't know if I got all of them. A couple of people asked if you could use it with iPads or Chromebooks. Yes, you can, either one. And I'll go through and read the rest of the questions and see if there's anything else we missed.
I've been answering them kind of as we were going along, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be more in the Q&A. So just very, very quickly to touch on kind of how Marty come. So they come in packets of 5 normally. So you can buy 5, 10, or 15. And each pack of 5 will come with 5 robots. They will come with extra batteries for each robot. That wonderful charging cradle that I mentioned that makes it really, really easy for classroom management, because if your robot is getting a little sluggish, you can just pop the battery out and pop a new one in, and it doesn't have to disrupt the lesson. It also comes with some stickers, so you can personalize your Martys. You can make Martinas. You can make you can make anything really, and you can rename them as well, so you can personalize them to each child. It comes with the color codes. We've actually created color tiles, neoprene tiles, so kind of from now onwards, all the Martys will come with neoprene tiles, as well as the cards, and a distance sensor. Each pack comes with the light and sound sensor. You do have to buy separately. And the last thing I will quickly say is that those disco eyes now come as standard. They used to come on as an add-on. Now all Martys going forward will have the disco eyes as standard. So that is the class packs. And in the next slide, we know that if you go back one, that obviously Marty is a premium product. It costs more than some of the rolling robots on the market. And so we've put together this resource on the website, and there's a link at the very end that takes you to it. And it's kind of lists hundreds of different grants and funding opportunities as well as crowdfunding. So we are now listed with school specialties, so you can make a donors choose project to buy your Marties and get it through school specialty because they're an approved donors choose vendor. But the link for that is at the end as well. We also have kind of a grant writing guide and tips on the language that you can use specifically to be more successful in your grant, and it's all in that wonderful resource on the website. And then finally, the last thing I want to say is we do offer Marty for a 2-week free trial in school. So if you'd like to have Marty come visit you for 2 weeks, there's a link that you can go through and you book in a very, very short call. One of our guys will get in touch with you and you just kind of go over suitability and when you'd like the robot sent to you, and you schedule a training call. The Marty is then shipped to you. Once you receive it, you have an online one-to-one virtual training where the guys go over how to connect to Marty, how to turn them on, how to use all the different coding platforms that Jamie spoke about, and that's when your 2 weeks start. So during that 2-week period, we give you some advice as to what lessons you can choose from the lessons portal, but really it's up to you to do whatever you want. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, we have a quick debrief call to see how the trial went and just to answer any questions that you have. So there's absolutely no obligation to buy. If you are kind of totally blown away by Marty and you have the budget, then that would be great. And you can purchase it through the school or through the district or through funding, but there is no obligation to buy, and we will cover the shipping and returns costs as well. Yes, so I thought, what should we do first? Should we do questions or should we do the giveaway first? What do you think?
Let's do the giveaway first.
Okay, let's do the giveaway.
If anyone has
first.
questions, we can stick around and answer questions.
Okay, sounds good. I like that. Oh, people are already guessing.
They're already guessing.
Oh, I love it.
What is your
Wonderful.
favorite number between 1 and 50? Oh my
Right.
goodness. Good
And I
guesses.
told Kimberly and Jamie the number I was thinking about, so I can't cheat.
Closest to the number wins. Make sure you get your number in.
Okay,
So
has everybody
excited.
got their number in?
And I will tell you, I did the 2-week trial with Marty when they came out with, I don't know, I guess I had bought some on Kickstarter and then I did the trial for version 2. I don't know exactly how it worked, but then I talked to my GT people, the GT department, into buying them for my class. So that's how I funded some of mine. I've done donors choose. I got them on Kickstarter. I spent my own money.
Right, so there's
That 2-week
2
trial
people
is
who are
amazing.
very, very close. Has everybody put in their guesses? Yes, okay. So the
Oh,
2
wow.
people who are very, very close are Julie Erickson and Beth Berry. So Beth and Julie, have another go. You're very, very close.
Beth and Julie, give us another number.
Okay, okay. Julie? Julie's the winner.
Yay!
Yay! Amazing. Okay, Julie, email me. Hi, are you here? Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. I'm so excited.
You will love it.
Wonderful. Awesome.
I
We're
can't
very
wait to
happy.
see what you do with him.
What do I need to do? I'm sorry. I was just so shocked.
Not very much. Just email me, nat@robotical.io, and send me your shipping address, and I will get a Marty out to you.
Okay. Will you put your email in the chat so I can write it down?
I will put it back on the screen. Here.
Yay!
Oh, great. Thanks.
It's also on the last.
Oh, it's on the last one?
It's on the last one as well. It's on the first one. It's on the last one. It's
I'll go
now
back
in the
to that
chat
one.
as well.
Sorry.
It's in the chat. Oh, I got it off of the chat. That's
you go.
perfect.
Okay. And Kimberly was
Okay.
saying, what happens if 2 people guess 46? And I'm like, well, that's never happened before. So now we know that it can happen. So Okay, and I think that's it from us. If anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself, or you can write it in the chat, whatever you feel more comfortable doing.
One person asked about the learning portal. It is open to anyone at any time. You don't have to have purchased Marty. You can go on their website and see it. You can get some ideas about how you can use robotics in your classroom and use those lessons. So they're really awesome.
Yep.
And as a reminder, everyone, all attendees will receive this recording as well as the slide deck in an email tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And we also have a post-event survey in case you'd like to share your feedback as well.
Cool.
Any questions?
There was a question about Kenyan standards. Moses, if you want to email me as well, let's have a chat and see if we can get a pilot out to you. We did used to have a distributor in Kenya. I'm not 100% sure if they're still active.
Very
So.
lousy.
Sorry? I missed that.
I didn't hear it.
Time.
Oh, no, Moses, you're getting cut off.
Moses, you might need to type it in the chat. When you talk, it's getting cut off. We can't hear everything. Thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate your attention. Today is a big day in my life. I had grades due and I have open house here in a little bit. So I'm going to drop off
It's a
here in
lot
a
for
minute.
one day.
It is a lot, but then I have spring break next week. So celebration, yay.
Okay, well, if anybody has any burning questions that they forgot or don't feel comfortable asking in front of everybody else, just email me and I'll be happy to answer them.
The survey is going to be emailed to you with the presentation and the video.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
And thank you, Kimberly.